Oh man, but seriously, Yeezus, bravo, dude. I mean, that is one of the most creative records of of any genre I've heard in a very, very long time. And just in terms of your output, your most exciting sounding record, I think, man.
Oh, thank you very much.
You know.
Yeah, I feel, I was able to start just making exactly what was in my mind again, and not having to speak with the textures of the time.
About one of my favorite moments you've given us at the moment, which is Send It Up, which is one of my favorite songs on that record. I mean, I'm assuming you and Brzezinski, or maybe you worked on that signature kind of electronic riff. I mean, that is you want to smash stuff when you hear that.
For me, I remember I played the synth to Kanye, and I was like, oh, you're not gonna like that sound. and I remember it get completely crazy, and I saw Brzezinski, and I was like, oh God, it's real, no? And he was like, okay, man.
Yeah.
So
first time I heard that as well, I mean, God, and my friends too, that was the one that just cut through, because it was the perfect balance between who you are and what he was trying to achieve.
Yeah, but for me it's weird because it sounds so industrial.
That's what's great about it.
Yeah. I was really surprised, and for this track it was really interesting to work on this project, because you know that I'm not from hip hop. If I can add my roots and my sound on this world, it can be good, because we can share something different. I just want to do something new, and if the people in hip hop are
moved by it, dude, historical album and cornerstone moment on it.
It's always virtuous. When you create an energy, there is always some more people coming around, and at the time we had a chance to get approached by Kanye West. We wanted to work with Geza Felstein, and Geza Felstein, he called me and he was like, let's go together, because it's your thing, the whole rap, and I want you to be there. And so I was like, let's do it. I was so honored to be part of it, to be part of something like way bigger than me. When I heard Yeezus for the first time, and Kanye wanted us to be part of it, and I was like, this is crazy. And it gave me the confidence to be like, okay, I have a sound, but I see rappers on it, and I think it's possible,
It's still Cruel Summer.
Yeah, but low key, some of the songs, I heard some of the songs that are on Yeezus, during Cruel Summer. Yeah.
Oh, really? The beginnings of them?
Yeah, some of the ideas. This is one of them, though.
So what would you say so far, before we get away from Kanye, what would you say of the stuff that we've heard from Kanye that has the biggest Travis Scott imprint on it?
I'll say New Slaves.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and Guilt Trip. The rest of those are just whatever. But I touch almost everyone though. And other than Oh My God, Black Skinhead, all those. Just worked on them, you know what I mean? But a lot of people
It's disgusting. So you're up in the loft probably at this point, and you're kicking around ideas and you're putting things together, and this sound comes into your head and you're like, this is what I'm looking for. This is
This is me going to the studio with Thomas and Guy-Man, and them who's Daft Punk, and they had a synthesizer the size of that wall right there, and this is just one session right here, and this beat originally was 14 minutes long, and that part in the beginning was something we completely just distorted it, and I ended up making that the intro.
This part of the song is a sample, and it's run through various plugins to get really as warm as possible. But then when I get to the chorus, we drop the sample and we go to a. And so when we go to the chorus, I drop the sample and we come in with just literally a synth-based plugin, right? And the thing is to not have one section sound so crazy from the other, go one to the other and still have that continuity. And so this was achieved using. And it's, obviously if you can have Charlie on every song, then, that makes it great too. But the challenge is taking it and making it still sound like this is a 1970s record, even though I'm using, 2017 equipment and gear and literally feel like I'm in a studio from 1970 with gravy dripping on equipment, you know? That's the challenge.
Yeah. You know, at what point did that kind of very deliberate feel to the record, whereby breaks come in and join these really discordant electronic moments and everything seems to exist in this kind of very contradictory but it works kind of way? At what point did that start to take shape? Because it is very, you know, omnipresent through the record as a whole, the way it flips between one and the other. Was that in your head early on, or did that come towards the end when you started to reduce the record?
Well, I didn't reduce it. Rick Rubin reduced it. He's not a producer, he's a reducer.
Nice.
A lot of the Kanye record actually got mixed in this room.
Right, you
He's been working on it for probably between 6 and 8 months. Built up all this massive stuff, and then we got together and went through it all and kind of shaped it.
It's an intense listen, but I'm liking it. You know, I need a little time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
radical.
amazing.
It's radical. It's funny because another friend of mine, popular artist, played me their album right like the day after we were done working on the Kanye thing, and it was hard for me to listen to, like hard for me to know how I felt about it because it just sounded like regular music.
Right.
You know, like it sounded
right. Your brain had been like reoriented by.
So like now this like I can't even tell if it's good or not because it just seems so ordinary, even though it may be incredible.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I've just been a little submerged.
Working in the studio with Ye, I've learned that it's not your traditional rap environment. Like it's ran like, you know, Apple, like the actual brand. That is like strenuous work. It's like sound for sound. It's like word for word. Like everything has to mean something. So he's not in there like really trying to impress you. He's really trying to like put out a message. He's trying to give people information. A lot of times people don't know how to receive it because we like stuck on stupid. And you have to be able to expand.
How did Kanye come to you? How did the record come to you?
He called me up. I just finished working in the studio for about 2 months on different things, and I was really getting ready to go away on vacation for a couple of weeks. And he called up and said, "Can I just come play my album?" And I said, "Sure." I was like to hear what he's working on. And he came over and we listened, and I thought a finished album was what we were going to listen to.
And where was this here, or was it at your house? At your house.
At my house. And he came over, and it was we listened to probably 3.5 hours of works in progress, like a lot of stuff. So it was like really a rough sketch of a lot of music. And I remember just thinking, it just seems like it's like these are cool things, but it's a long ways off, and you know, I'm assuming they're going to come out next year. And I said, "When do you think of finishing it up?" And he's like, "Oh well, it's coming out in 5 weeks." And I said, "Really?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," like completely like confident and just fine.
So he wasn't stressing about the
Not at all. Not at all. Like,
all right.
Okay. And I said, "I have a record coming out in November that's a lot further along than this." And he's like, "Really?" And then we listened to some things that I was working on, and he liked them, and he's like, "Okay, that all sounds really good. What are you doing for the next 5 days?" So I was going to go away, and he's like, "Please help me. Would you be open to helping me kind of fixing it and shaping it and finishing it off?"
So he almost didn't realize how much more work there was to be done?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I really can't even say.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seemed impossible what he was asking. We ended up working probably 15 days, 16 days, long hours, no days off, just on.
Like how long? How long were the hours?
15 hours a day, like just intense focus.
Did you
and
know?
I was panicked the whole time. He wasn't at all.
So hit him up with that idea, but we didn't do anything till like a year and a half or two later, maybe. Like a good while. And I was in his studio, and he was in London, and he was working on a remix for Bjork, and then he was finishing it. And when he finished it, he just turned around and he was like, "Hey, you want to try something out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we did actually. We were planning to do that one day." let's try it. And the first song we ever made that night was what ended up being Blood on the Leaves.
Oh my gosh.
The first song. So when we made that with the horns and everything, at first it was just a piano note. And I was just playing around. I was playing around like that. And then we just left it in there. And then Hudmo, being a Hudmo he is, somehow brings out these wild horn sounds. But I just don't know how he did it. He pulled out, I don't remember what plugin it was. It just happened so quick. And all of a sudden, the piano turned into horns. And then da 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 da. Okay, let's add the drums. Boom. So that's sort of how it works. It's like, there's no thought process to it. It just is spontaneous. And when it happens, it's like, okay, it's happening, guys. It's happening. Just this, it's like it's cooking. Just throw more ingredients as it's cooking, and then throw it out, put it on the plate, and that's it. And then you see the plate, and it's like, who the hell cooked that? That was me. I don't.
He said on the last day he was leaving. Not the last, 3 days before. 3 days before we had to turn the record in, he tells us, "Okay, I'm going to Milan tonight." It's like, okay, and it's like far from being done, and there are probably 5 songs that need vocals, and two of them probably need words. Like you have to write the words and deliver them. 3 of them just performances. The performances are doable. Writing the words and doing the performances very unlikely.
In 3 days, was it? You said?
No, that day. He was leaving that night.
Right, but then the record was due in
3 days.
In 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was leaving that night, so he said, "Okay, I have to go to this baby shower, and I'll be back at 4, and from 4 to 6, I'll do the vocals." And I said, "Okay." He's like, "Don't worry." He said, "I'll score 40 points for you in the 4th quarter." This is his quote. It ended up probably taking 2 hours, between 2 and 2.5 hours before he left. But it was full on.
Jeez.
NBA Finals.
And then how long after did you work with Kanye, and how did that come about?
Right, so after the Tonight Project, after he ended up using Blood on the Leaves, I wonder if it happened before or after. No, after, because the Miami session happened maybe a few months after or a year after, like 2013 was the Miami sessions for Cruel Summer. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool because it was very surreal, and it was all shout out Virgil. He's the man. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who pretty much connects all the dots.
Okay.
He's the one who found Blood on the Leaves, showed it to Kanye. He knows everyone, man.
Yeah.
I remember passing by Kanye's studio, and Kanye was blasting Machine Drum. Amen.
Oh
you know
God.
who it came from. He's just in the studio drawing something, and he's just blasting Machine Drum. And I'm just like, yes, that's what it's about. But that was a great thing to witness. But shout out Virgil on that tip, and he hit me up about wanting to introduce me to him at the sessions and just to jam and just produce stuff for fun. Nothing in specific. They're working on the Cruel Summer thing, he was saying, but doesn't want to really put too much stress on it. And obviously I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to. And I just didn't believe it until I was checked into my hotel. No, even at checked into my hotel, I still was like, man, not until I show up to the building. And I show up in the building and everybody's there. I'm like, okay, all right, let's go.
So I'm gonna take music and I'm gonna try to make it 3-dimensional, like on Star Wars, and the hologram will pop up out of R2-D2. I'm gonna try to make something that jumps up and affects you, in a good or bad way.
Yeah.
Whether it's I'm going into a scream in the middle of the track because that's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to make easy listening, easy programmable music.
No, you're so off the reservation on this album in the best possible way.
Yeah.
I mean, like you talked about, the way that you use your voice in different ways. You don't rely on conventional rhyming flows. Your flows are, I mean, the opening line, Yeezus season approaching, a monster's awoken. Like, you're laying it out there. This isn't my, beautiful dark twisted fantasy part 2. I'm wiling out on this record straight away.
Yeah.
And then from nowhere as well, we just get treated to these wonderful moments where, like you say, it's almost like a collage. Like you're sitting here going, you know what, why can't I go into this? Why not?
Yeah, you can.
You
That's
can.
how
Well,
life
you
is.
did. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you as well. You worked with Kanye on Black Skinhead, I believe, on Yeezus.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just with the making of that record and how a lot of people didn't really grasp to Yeezus, do you feel like it's either ahead of our time? And do you feel like people might feel the same way with Tetsu and Youth?
Nah, I don't think so. I still don't know what Black Skinhead is about.
And you worked on it.
I still don't know what it is. It's a lot of emotional, a lot of this, a lot of cliche, a lot of kind of stuff balled in together, and it's just supposed to be presented as a package and you digest it.
Right.
But I still don't know what it's supposed to do. Ye has his plans.
What's the session with him like?
This one was cool because it's interestingly enough, it was very relatable to how the Red Bull Music Academy would be, where you have multiple studios, and it's almost just free form, and then from time to time, well, in the Academy Studio thing, it's very much free form from beginning to end for 2 weeks straight. But in the Kanye sessions, it's more like that, and then from time to time, he'll have a concept idea around a sample or a song, and we'll just do all the different remix version. So it's very much like a jam rather than a camp. It's not like let's put out as many songs as possible in a short amount of time. It's just feel good. I mean, being no, that wasn't Miami. Sorry, it was Hawaii.
Okay.
So being in Hawaii already is the environment. It was very much like about having the environment influence you, and then the music come out naturally. So it was really cool. That's what I'm all about in terms of the creative process. So that was a pretty fun project to do, and just to be talking ideas with him, it's very interesting.
And he gave you
initially working with Kanye. What was that like? What projects did you work on?
He found me pretty much when he was in the middle of Yeezus.
Okay.
And so that was the first thing that I originally worked on him with. But that was a surreal experience because Kanye loves to do this thing where when he hears something he likes, he likes to just call the person, or just email the person and just be
on the spot.
just be like, yo, I need you here. I want you to be here Monday.
So what, did he call you?
It was I got to him through his cousin that's an A&R good, and and he hit me first and was like, yo, Kanye wants to fly you out on Monday to sign you, and then I got the email from him, and then I got the e-ticket and all that, and then literally on Monday I was at his house in Paris, and that was
At Kanye's house in Paris.
Yeah, it was one of those experiences where you kind of don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to go on.
Were you nervous?
I was at a pretty low place in life. I was like not really thinking anything was going to turn into anything.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of just felt like I was getting a free trip to Paris.
Yeah, like shit, let's go.
Yeah, I didn't really expect anything to come from it. And
Gotcha.
when I got there and actually sat with him and started playing the music, and then he was like, yo, I want you to stay here and work with me on my album. Then it kind of hit me.
Dope.
Like, oh, this is real. Like, I'm actually about to have my moment.
Yeah.
Because before that, I was sort of resigned to being in the music business. I just didn't really think that was the path, So
all right, so the Kanye verse, the original verse, when I was doing the verse, I could see Che and them just kind of so I give it the original verse. It goes something like, man a bad man, if you know say disrespect we no take. No way Jose try that pan February the 30th. That's right, couldn't try that no day. When you talk better careful what you make your mouth say. Come AK, OK, Kingston, bad man, thugs them a mobe. Coming like bench warmers, cause we don't play. When we roll on pan you black, nobody feel so we won't spray. Like a aerosol can and we right bank coat day. Cause we beat murder charge like OJ, so I could see the guy that. Crazy, you know what I mean? So it's the flow is very, immediately you know that's a Jamaican on there.
Right.
Immediately you know that it's not necessarily hip hop, it's dancehall, but you can hear some of the lyrics and appreciate it. There you go. So I think I'm in a position where it's never been done like that before. So I think I have a unique advantage.
What was working with Kanye like?
I think that Kanye he's a master at putting people in rooms together that don't belong together. And so you're with the best of the best, and everybody around you is like a master at whatever they do. So you end up being in this room with people that you've never met before, maybe heard of, or maybe have heard their music before, and you're forced really to just be on your A game. Like you have no choice because this
is your one shot.
Yeah, kind of. And Kanye is he pushes everybody, and when he believes in you, he definitely gives you a piece of confidence that you've never felt before. You know, when he encourages you, it's a type of confidence that you start to feel and you start to get, because he's so confident in what he does and his process.
It makes you feel confident.
Yeah, it makes you feel confident in your own process. And it couldn't have been a better blessing for me, because he really doesn't, you know, he cares what people think, but he does what he does. Like, he doesn't really change who he is for anybody.
I think we get that.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, he's much more, he is much more open to people's ideas and opinions than you would think. Like, he plays music for everybody. So
of the body of work that I worked on, that I feel like helped me like prove this point of, you know, architects not focusing on building buildings but making things, is this album here, Yeezus. So for an artist like Kanye West, which, you know, raised a generation based on art and music and being progressive, me having that ability to be able to work on those projects was, you know, insane, and I'm forever grateful for that. But this piece here, often him and I both say, was like, we kind of like outdid ourselves in a way. Like, we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. You know, like, something happened. We don't know what it was, but we've both like looked at it in the end and we're like, damn, like, it's as if we went to design school, you know, like, or whatever. Like, what, like, did you know, like, did Dieter Rams like come visit us in a dream and we finally like did something good? But it's metaphorical as a way it's actual. Like, think about the era that when this came out. You know, it's two hip-hop kids that are obsessed with design and progressing forward. Of course, this cover didn't look like this. It had a million iterations. But for us, it represented the death of a CD. This might be, we thought, like, this might be the last time someone ever even sees this. It's an open casket for a format of music that we were raised off of that'll never be seen. What is the orange sticker? Like, what are the 30 versions of the orange sticker that came out? The cover looked different when we released it than when we had a 2-hour conversation about how the sticker should just be clean.
John Monopoly had got me in tune, like, let me know that they wanted me to fly me out to Paris and work on the album, you know, like a month before the album dropped. So, like, I ain't gonna say a month, like 2 months, just let me. So, at first I thought it was like, I ain't believe it. Then got my passport, I went to Paris. And then I came back, I went 2 more times after that. It was just a great, dope experience, you know, and it was like a motivation, you know what I'm saying? To, like, again, hard work was paying off. They were long, you know, boring, drugless, shit, but they were productive. You know what I'm saying? They were, like, I learned things, it was motivation, you know, for my craft, to better my craft. And it just showed me my worth or whatever, like, you know, let me know, like showed me my worth, you know what I'm saying, made me more, you know, I just believed in myself even more, like I was proud of myself, you know, it was a dope experience.
What were some of the things?
Like the studio, like, and then it just was like when I would talk to Ye, like, when we would, like, get ideas, whatever, like, it'd be dope. Like, it's just like he'd talk to you like you like one of the guys, you know what I'm saying? Make you feel comfortable. Like, when you see, like, that's why I say when you see people on the media and things, you might think a certain way of them. Like, you might take them, like, think he an asshole or something, you know? But when I met him, he was cool as hell. He was like he is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I met him before. You would think I would have met him before, like, and he was like a fan of my music. So it was like, wow. He quoted some of my lines that made him want to work with me. So it was just motivation. Like, dang, like, this, my music made it this far for Kanye to hit.
Make sure to subscribe to get more top studio moments weekly, and leave a comment below telling us your top studio moment.